This book is my attempt to give surveillance advertising an origin story. The political and economic roots of surveillance advertising are important pieces of a larger conversation about Internet companies and the power they wield in society. This conversation went mainstream in 2018 as journalists, tech workers, activists, and academics investigated and publicized a cascade of scandals coming from Silicon Valley. In what became known as the techlash, the world's biggest Internet companies faced international public rebuke over controversies around gender discrimination, appalling labor conditions, lax data security, anti-competitive behavior, tax avoidance, addictive product design, algorithmic bias, and objectionable military contracts. Public opinion cratered as pollsters reported that few Americans trust major tech companies to consistently do what is right. Facebook was at the epicenter of the techlash. Despite efforts by company leaders to avoid culpability and downplay the scope of problems, a public relations crisis erupted when two interrelated scandals spiraled out of the 2016 U.S. presidential election. In the first case, a seedy UK-based data broker firm, Cambridge Analytica, used Facebook's data collection tools to secretly harvest information from 87 million unwitting people in an attempt to build psychological profiles for political advertising operations. The company was hired by Donald Trump's election campaign to, among other tactics, use Facebook's advertising platform to discourage highly specific groups of likely Democratic voters from going to the polls. Shortly thereafter, Facebook admitted that operatives linked to the Russian government had used its ad system in attempts to spread misinformation, exacerbate political divisions, and influence electoral outcomes. A federal investigation found evidence that Russia had spent millions of dollars on manipulative campaigns designed to aggravate racial tensions and other social frictions among different groups of U.S. citizens. Although the frame of foreign election meddling received outside attention, investigative journalists later revealed that Democratic Party operatives used similar strategies to try to depress Republican voter turnout in an Alabama Senate race. Evidence continues to pile up that such techniques are used widely by a broad range of political actors. Youngmi Kim's groundbreaking research found that unidentifiable dark money groups used Facebook to purchase waves of divisive, micro-targeted political advertising across key electoral battleground states. As the scrutiny intensified, Facebook's founder and CEO, Mark Zuckerberg, was called to congressional hearings to testify about his company's information practices. Making his way up the steps of Capitol Hill, Zuckerberg passed demonstrators holding signs that said, "Stop corporate spying." The vitriol levied at Facebook around the election reflected a deeper complaint. The pervasive consumer surveillance at the heart of the Internet's advertising business model was out of control. The large reserves of public goodwill that Facebook, Google, and the like had enjoyed for much of their existence seemed to be running dry. Certainly these companies had faced criticism in the past. As one journalist put it, "Power breeds resentment." But the techlash was different, in that it fostered more than disconnected, one-off condemnations of this or that shameful incident. A structural analysis began to take shape, particularly around the collective harms of business models based on surveillance advertising. As Natalie Marshall argued, micro-targeted advertising drives company decision-making in ways that are ultimately toxic to society. It was becoming widely obvious that consumer data collection was not simply about providing relevant ad messages, as ad platforms often claimed. "Their business depends on manipulating behavior," wrote the Financial Times' Rana Foroohar. "It is a business model that causes endless collateral damage." Even the creator of the World Wide Web weighed in. "We don't have a technology problem," said Tim Berners-Lee. "We have a social problem." In this sense, what is important about the techlash is not that it was propelled by a series of extraordinary scandals.